Goldylocks Productions broadcasts universal cosmic frequencies that unlock, awaken, and expand the consciousness of our worldwide viewers and listeners.
Goldylocks Productions presents the Live from Little Bear Sanctuary show with Christopher Vane. Enjoy topics such as the vegan lifestyle, sanctuary media highlights, and spotlighting new rescues.
Happy Friday, friends. Welcome to Live from Little Bear Sanctuary. I'm your host, Chris Vane, and it's Friday, October 23rd. So happy I get to spend my Fridays with you guys. Randy and I both have the weekend off this weekend, so we're really excited about that. We have a lot of catching up to do. And if you're watching live, say hello, ask questions. If you're watching live and you're not signed in, like if you're on YouTube or Facebook, sign in, make an account, subscribe to Goldylocks Productions, and like our videos. And that way you can say hello to me and good morning and all that good stuff. Before we get to my guest today, I have a couple announcements. America's Next Top Poodle, we have a winner. It was a very exciting week, and actually the voting was pretty close. The winner this for this year was Nadia, and we're going to bring up a picture of her in a second. And Nadia got her debut on the VDog website and Instagram and all the social media stuff. And her parents got lots of great prizes. Just wait for her pic to come up. While we're waiting for that, good morning. Yeah, there she is. Look at how cute. So that's Nadia. Congratulations, Nadia. Her parents, Dan and Mike. Dan was a guest actually on my show, so you guys might remember him. And what else do I got to tell you guys? I got to take a minute to thank all the sponsors this year. We had strange time of year to do fundraisers, strange time in general. So I really want to just, if you guys bear with me, I just want to read the list of everybody who donated auction items and who were part of this year's giveaway and auction and contest. This was our fourth year, and we've had our regulars who come back every year to donate, and we're really grateful. First of all, thank you, Jamie, with Prana Run. Jamie, every year, puts the entire contest together. She reaches out to the sponsors. She's just, I don't know what I would do without her. So yeah, Jamie, thank you. Thank you, Prana Run. Follow pranarun.org. Check them out. Follow them on social media. Great organization. Thank you, VDog, for announcing the winner, for donating some of the prizes. Of course, FTLA Apparel. Thank you, Kim. I'm wearing one of her t-shirts as usual, and I'm going to just tilt my camera down so you guys can see it. And it is available at ftlaapparel.com. And she also does the sanctuary shirts for us and all of our little goodies. So check her out. Give her a follow. Mr. Peanuts Carriers, thank you guys. You guys were really generous. I know that my guests won a few in the auction. And a big thanks to Elite Island Resorts for the amazing vacation for the winner. And they also did a lot of hotels for the auction. So really grateful to them. Some really amazing hotel stays on the islands. Pretty nice. And then really quick, Vegan Essentials. Thank you guys. Micah Yoga Wear, Fury 13, Devotion, Compassionate Paws, Corker, Oink Box. I got an Oink Box. Thank you guys. So Oink Box, I got the Oink Box of the month. And guess what, guys? It's Hogtoberfest. So this month's Oink Box we got these cute little bandanas and treats. Oh my God, there's this cute little Hogtoberfest. You put the little treat in there, they do it around, they walk it around. Just Figs, cookies and, oh my God, pumpkin patch ale cookies. If you're a pig parent, you really need to subscribe to Oinkbox. They're fantastic. Thank you, Dirty Snouts. Thank you, Dog Blue Designs, Mad Hippie, Nair and Bjorn, New Leaf Naturals, Pink Moon Candle, Simply 9 Designs, Threads for Love, Woven Threads, The Vegan Prophet, Mona B, With Love by KM and Katie Esser. I think I got everybody there. Next up, I want to thank, we built some pig shelters thanks to a grant from the Diana and Daniel Goldman Family Foundation, a really generous grant. We built and put up 3 really cool pig shelters with these really cool sun sails that go around them. I know Tiffany will get that picture up in a second. The pictures don't really do it, Jay. There we go. Look at these. These are really amazing. The actual main building is 8 by 10 feet by 5 feet, and those sails are 10 by 13 feet. So we got 3 of those up at the sanctuary. Thank you, Diana. Beantown Kitchen on Instagram. She's a vegan chef, and I hope she will be on my show and cook something fabulous for you guys. And one more thing, video of the day. I'm going to show you this cute little video. I wanted to kind of show you guys what my morning is like. I could tell you guys every morning how my view is here from the sanctuary. So I wanted to show you guys. I took a little video this morning, and we'll get that up in a second, and I'll narrate it for you guys. It's a beautiful day today. It's actually weird. It's up. Here we go. So this is the front of the sanctuary when you come in, and that's Willie, and Willie is with 4 of the goats, and that big bull back there is Tough. And this is my morning walk. I walk around the sanctuary, check on all the animals. There's little Willie. Willie's our first rescue. And that's Shrek, Jackie, Rose, and Lily. And Rose and Lily are Jackie's babies. And there's the house back there. So I'm in that house back there facing this way. And here we go. There's Tough, appropriately named. He is one of our bulls. We've got 2 of them. He's actually really sweet. He looks a little intimidating, but we love him. That's the new 10 acres that the cows are on. And there's a couple more cows laying down. I think that's Sparkles, Smoke, and Black Beauty. And those are the 10 acres that we've got the fundraiser up now on GoFundMe. So we're going to be putting some tiny houses out there, an office, public space for visitors, and hopefully to do some outdoor stuff and fun for everybody. And there's the little goofballs. So yeah, that's Willie. There's actually 22 pigs running around on that property. You'd never know it. They're all in the front of the house. We call them the house pigs. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. And here we go. My guest today, hi Karla, is Karla Dumas. She is a friend and fellow sanctuary founder. I'm going to read your bio because I cheat and read everybody's bio, Karla. She is a registered dietitian, nutritionist, and director of food and nutrition with the Humane Society of the United States. The food and nutrition team with HSUS has partnered with over 600 institutional dining operations and some of the largest food service companies to cultivate a more sustainable food system by increasing plant-based menu options. The food and nutrition team has hosted over 500 plant-based culinary trainings, reaching over 11,000 food service professionals. Hey, Karla, welcome.
Hey, Chris. Thank you so much for having me on today. I'm so excited.
Thanks for being on the show. Good to see you. It's been a while.
I know. Well,
I know last time I saw you, you were delivering some ducks to me.
I was, yes.
How are things at the sanctuary?
Well, staying busy, but yeah, everything's going really well. I loved seeing that video that you just shared of your mornings. So I know mornings for me are like one of my favorite parts of the day, just kind of getting out there right when the sun is rising and getting to spend some time with the different residents. So that was fun to see. And the weather, like you said, is really nice right now.
Yeah, it's really nice right now. Yeah. It's sort of like sunny on one side, but cloudy on another. Typical Florida weather. So tell us about your day job.
Yeah, well, as you mentioned in the introduction there, so I lead a team that is working with institutional dining programs, and I'll explain a little bit more about what that means. And I've been with HSUS for just about 6 years now. And really what we try to do is shift, as you mentioned, shift programs and menus to more plant-based options and really diversifying the protein options so that there isn't as much of a reliance on animal products throughout the food service industry. And as you mentioned, like we've worked with 600 different individual dining operations. So we are also working with some of the largest food service companies. And so these food service companies are contracting with dining programs at universities, school districts, hospitals, correctional facilities, the military, various corporate cafeterias, that kind of idea. And when we work with them at the corporate level, we're working to create that change throughout all of those accounts. So for example, one of those companies is called Compass Group, and they're the largest food service management company here in the US as well as globally. And here in the US, they have over 16,000 dining programs that they're contracted to operate. And so when working with them, thinking about that much impact in changing those menus to increase, and when we say plant-based within the food service industry, we mean vegan. So in focusing on that, so my team is made up of chefs, dietitians, food service professionals that have worked in the industry, and specialists that work with these companies and then these individual accounts across the country to create that change. And actually, last year, I would say a pretty audacious goal for the team that by 2025, 50% of the food service companies that we're working with in those programs, 50% of their menu will be plant-based. Wow. So in thinking about that, if we reach that goal, it's estimated that right now in the food service industry, 1.5 billion land animals are used for meat, eggs, and dairy in the food service industry. So if our team is able to meet that 50% goal by 2025, we could save an estimated 2.4 billion animals from being caught up in the food service industry. So that's a little bit of what we do.
Just a little, right? That's
a little.
Pretty amazing. That was one of my questions, actually. I was going to ask, what I was going to ask you for a count of how many animals would be saved by, everything that you guys are doing. So that's pretty amazing. And I don't think people realize the billions of animals that are killed each year for food. Wilma's on. Wilma says hello. Do you know Wilma, right?
Hi, Wilma. Yes.
Hi, Wilma. Good morning, Wilma.
Well, when you think about that, Chris, like that number in the food service sector that we're working with, the USDA estimates that number is like 15% of the animals that are just worldwide. So, I mean, thinking about how much greater that number is. I mean,
fish, it's like 1 trillion a year or something
right.
Really horrible like that. Yeah. Yeah,
right.
That's actually pretty sad. How long have you been with the Humane Society?
Just shy of 6 years. So in January, it'll be 6 years with them. So, and I would say, in thinking about this too, and obviously I know you referenced like even earlier that with COVID and it's such a tough time and strange time to fundraise, and even in the work that we do, because, so many operations are either working at like 15% of their capacity or a lot of virtual when it comes to the institutions that we're working with in my day job. But we're finding like with these companies since COVID at the corporate level, we've been busier than ever. So it's really exciting that these companies are truly making that connection that, okay, the time is now that we really need to stop relying completely on animal products, for various reasons.
Yeah. That's, do you find like more now, given that everybody's at home and this pause that's kind of happened in everybody's lives, that people are making that connection more, that there's more of a thought behind what we're eating, what we're doing, how we're treating animals?
Yeah, I mean, I know just from the companies that we're working with, people, they're like, okay, now's the time that, we might not have all of our facilities open, but we can put down the foundation and make these changes to our menu so that when we hopefully are operating more at the capacity that they had been before, that they're able to transition into more sustainable menu options. And then I think, from an individual standpoint, I know I look at a lot of the research from the Good Food Institute for the work that we do. And a couple months ago, they were doing some polling saying that since COVID, almost 25% of the population and those that they polled were stating that they're choosing more vegan options just personally because of COVID.
That's pretty amazing. Yeah, I think it's definitely a strange time, and I have a lot of people reaching out to me on social media now asking about what products they can buy, how do they go about choosing a plant-based lifestyle, vegan lifestyle. And I think a lot of people, I think the hardest part for a lot of people is they just don't know what to buy. And then depending on what part of the world you're in, it's pretty different. But, there's always rice and beans, and there's always the basics. I'm a junk food vegan, so I tend to go for the Beyond Burgers and all that kind of stuff.
Well, I shouldn't admit it because I am a dietitian, but I am too. Like, give me a vegan donut and I'll be the happiest person in the world. So, and I know I texted you, Chris, but the chef that you had on a couple episodes ago that had that delicious pear cake, I just finished my last piece today for breakfast. I've been eating it for breakfast.
Really good. I made a second one. It was so good. Yeah, he's David's going to be on again next month, and he's going to be he's going to be a regular. He's a good friend of mine. We love him. Let's see. So, tell me about your journey to veganism. What brought you to it?
Yeah, I'm happy to kind of share a little bit about it. My journey has it's gone on for quite a while. When I was very young, I was allergic to eggs and dairy, so naturally I just had to eliminate that from my diet. And soy milk and the various plant milks have definitely evolved even since when I was very little, which is fantastic. But definitely then, I mean, I was steering clear of those type of items at a very young age. And I grew up in Sarasota, and where I lived east of the interstate, there were a lot of, and there still are some pastures with cattle. And so I would see that a lot of times and make the connection, like, I don't want to eat cows, so I chose not to do that. And my maiden name, which is now my middle name, is Pignati. So I felt this kinship to pigs very early on. So I stopped eating pork products as well at a young age. And actually, I became vegetarian in high school. I think can be very common. And that's actually how I pursued nutrition and dietetics and why I wanted to do that going into college. And then early on in college, I actually did become vegan. And sadly, I kind of took some steps back and was starting to eat poultry and fish again until I saw some undercover videos not too long after I graduated college. And it just, I mean, when you see those kind of videos, I see one today and I just break down. But it had a huge impact on me. And I just said, you know what, I need to just move forward in that direction. And around that time, I started working for HSUS as well. So yeah, it was kind of a journey throughout the years, but ultimately that was what made me realize, like, no more going back and forth with everything.
I didn't know that about your name. That's so funny.
Yes. Pigs have always been my favorite animal since I've been very young. So
yeah, I won't lie. It's definitely, they're my favorite too. They're very special. Recommend a documentary to somebody who's maybe on the edge or thinking about going vegan. What do you think they should watch? Maybe something that's not so horrific, because we all know, like, the Earthlings and the Dominion, but anything you might recommend to somebody who, something they could actually sit through?
Yeah. I mean, forks over knives from the health standpoint is always a good one, and thinking about that. And one of the more recent ones, The Game Changers, that's a really good one that I usually recommend as well.
Yeah. Great. So. Awesome. Let's talk about the sanctuary.
Chris, I can hear you now. I'm so sorry. I heard you say, let's talk.
Let's talk about the sanctuary.
Yes, let's do it.
All right. So Yesakan Sanctuary opened in 2018.
Yeah. So I'll share a little bit of history to how our sanctuary came to be. And as I mentioned just a little bit ago, I grew up in Sarasota, and my husband Jody and we had lived there up until about 4 years ago. And while we were there, we lived on a little over an acre of land. So we had been, over the years, fostering and then adopting dogs and cats. And then we ended up rescuing a broiler, a meat bird chicken named Lady Gaga. She came with the name. And that's kind of what started the rescuing of farm animals, and even thinking about that. So we had Lady Gaga, and then we were able to rescue a couple more chickens. And Jody was like, well, if we're going to do this, we need to move on more property. And we knew we could not afford that in Sarasota. So we had started searching, and that's where we found the property that we currently are on in DeSoto County right now. And when we moved there, it had been a small ranch that previous owners have had, and they had it branded Yesakan Ranch and had all of that terminology on there. So when we were thinking about the rescue, quite honestly, when we first moved out there, I wasn't even thinking that we were going to be a 501c3 or anything in an official capacity. I just wanted to rescue some animals. And then we decided pretty quickly after that that it made sense to become a 501c3 and move in that direction. So when thinking about the name, we really like the idea of the name that was kind of branded, where it's, yes, I can. Yes, I can help as many animals. Yes, I can provide this refuge for animals that have many times experienced horrific abuse and neglect in that way. So that's where the name Yesakan Sanctuary came up. And then, so we have really been working in a true active sanctuary capacity for about 2 years in that way. And I was trying to count before we got on here, but I think we have 80, maybe just over 80 permanent residents there. And we're in the process. We're going to have a new rescue coming this weekend. So
he's coming. Who you left with?
Yeah, Little Lamb is going to be coming from North Florida.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Add to the sheep collection?
Right. Well, right now we only have one sheep, Maddie, who you met, and she adores you. I remember you and Randy. We actually had visitors a couple weeks ago.
She's so cute. Oh, my goodness.
We had visitors a couple weeks ago, and she would not leave them alone. And that's other than the time you two visited, that was the only other time she's been like that. So
That's so funny. Wow. Yeah, she's adorable. She's adorable. Who else do you want to talk about at the sanctuary?
How much time do we have? No, I'm kidding.
Oh, we have plenty of time. We have plenty of time. This show is for you.
Well, I mean, certainly.
How's Owen doing?
What was that?
How is Owen doing? Owen the pig.
Owen is doing really well. He's doing really well. Yeah. I know that was one of the pictures that you had featured of Owen when he was a little tiny piglet. So those of you that don't know the story of Owen, we got him almost a year ago. January is going to be his year birthday. And he was a feral piglet, like found on the side of the road, not too far away from our property. Actually, the people that found him thought he was a dog a little puppy that got hit. And we think that he must have, sadly, maybe his mother was trapped and with the stress of it all, gave birth on the pickup or wherever she was being transported. And he fell off that particular truck because you know that hog hunting is pretty active in the area where we both have our sanctuaries, and he became really, really sick. I mean, there were times when it was like weekly that we were taking him to the veterinary specialist, and he does have a heart condition, but he's pulled through. I actually just weighed him the other day. He's up to 130 pounds. So it's crazy to think that he's gotten so big.
He is like a teeny little thing. Oh my God. Yeah.
And he's so rotten. He's so spoiled.
Aren't they all though?
Yes. And you said house pigs, Chris. Well, I probably shouldn't say this, but he still sleeps in the house at night. Oh. He's like my baby. So. Yeah.
I wish my pigs could sleep in the house. My dogs are too crazy. But we've got a couple little ones in the house. We keep them in the garage, which is like our middle space. So yeah, I totally get it. I remember him. I remember when you got him, and he was sleeping on the big dog bed, and he was this tiny little thing, and then all of a sudden, he started growing, and he looks amazing now.
Yeah, you wouldn't know that he has a heart condition. I mean, obviously we're treating it with daily medications and it's well managed. And, with that, knowing that he most likely will not have the life expectancy that most pigs do, but, just giving him the best that he can while he's here, and he's having a good time with everyone. So yeah, he's doing well.
Yeah, that's awesome. So expenses, like veterinary expenses, are crazy for sanctuaries. I know you guys have had a lot of trips to the vet and expenses. And where can people donate to your sanctuary? Is everything on your website?
Yeah. Thank you, Chris. I mean, that probably the medical expenses are one of the highest aside from feed.
Medical and feed always.
Yeah. So that's certainly in taking in special needs animals, like what we were just talking about with Owen, and like the lamb that we're taking, we think is partially blind and right now is not walking. So certainly there's going to be added expenses there. But yes, all of our information in terms of if people are interested and able to donate on our website, yesicansanctuary.org, through social media, Facebook, we have a donate button as well, with all of that. And we perfect. And we also have, I think like you and many other sanctuaries do, where you can sponsor some of the residents monthly or make one-time donations there. And we have all the different bios of the residents on our website too, if people are interested. And we have some silly and fun videos on there too.
Cool. How much does it cost to sponsor an animal? Is it the same for everybody?
So our chickens, roosters, and ducks are $10 a month. And then everyone else is $30 a month.
$30. Yeah. That's a bargain. That's Yeah. I know, feed, we've talked about the vet stuff. Feed is crazy. if you don't mind talking about it, like tell people, how much you feed, the cost of running a sanctuary. It's pretty expensive monthly. I don't know if you have the exact numbers, but, for people who are watching and who want to donate, just tell us a little about what your needs are. Do you guys have a Amazon wish list?
Yeah. Thanks, Chris.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, when everyone is pretty much healthy and don't have any emergency expenditures, which is rare.
Yeah, I know.
But our average is around $3,500 a month when it comes to taking in, thinking about the feed, just like the bedding, and then any kind of just general medical care there. So that's kind of where we're at in looking at that amount. And we do have an Amazon wish list that is also on our website if you're interested in there. That has a lot of different items. We have, as I'm sure you do as well, Chris, we have some really great, I can't stress enough the support that we already have for the sanctuary when it comes to volunteers. And of course, we appreciate financial support, but we recognize, especially right now, that people aren't able to do that. And there are so many other ways that you can support sanctuaries. I know I just yesterday had someone drop off like 2 big cases of apples and plums, which is fantastic for the different animals, and different blankets and towels. A lot of times we'll get like some medical supplies, with cleaners and things like that. Like those kind of things are so helpful. And even just obviously, in ways with social media, sharing, liking everything that, the sanctuary posts to get more recognition out there is always so helpful too. So it doesn't have to always be financial, as you know, too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I always tell people, like the sanctuary, follow us, like the pictures. It really makes a difference in how the account is exposed on social media in general, across all social media platforms. And it's the more somebody shares a post, the more somebody likes a post, follows you guys on Instagram, likes you on Facebook. It really makes a difference. It's unfortunate, but that's the only way to get the word out. And with the way social media works, the more followers you have, the more likes you get, is the broader amount of people you reach. So it is a great way to support you guys if you don't have the financial means right now. So yeah, that's a great way. I know you guys are a Yes I Can on Instagram.
Yep, Yes I Can Sanctuary. Yep. Mm-hmm.
On Facebook.
It's Yes I Can Sanctuary Inc.
On Facebook. All right. What else are you guys on? You guys are you guys on other platforms?
I don't know. I should say that we are on Twitter, but I'll be very honest. Like, I share it on Twitter, but I am not.
You're not a Twitter person?
No.
Yeah, I think everybody feels that way. We're on Twitter too, but I always forget about it. That's like my last. Let me post something to Twitter.
Yeah.
Twitter's more about like brief little sentences, and for the stuff we do, I don't think it always works on Twitter.
Right.
Yeah.
Although if someone's listening and loves Twitter, we'd always love that support and guidance there as well. So.
Yeah. Exactly. Tell me about Gabriel's rescue.
Yes, Gabriel, another one very close to my heart. I know we oftentimes get questions like, do you have a favorite, and that sort of thing. And certainly,
I was going to ask you just for fun, but
well, certainly, just like if you have children, you can't say you have a favorite, right? But certainly, we've had like Owen and Gabriel, and I'll share a little bit about him. Those that have come to us in where there's a lot of care, or in situations where we weren't sure they were going to make it, you just end up spending much more time. And certainly it's that much sweeter when you see that they pull through and are just loving life. So Gabriel was part of a rescue that happened on Earth Day. I will forever remember the day because that was pretty significant there. That was orchestrated by individuals for many years in Fort Myers. And then, several nonprofits, Farm Sanctuary, Animal Legal Defense Fund was also involved in it. And then many other Florida sanctuaries were involved. And we were brought in actually the morning of the rescue. The sanctuaries went down. It was a illegal slaughter backyard butcher situation in a family's backyard on their property. And they were told that there were only like a handful of different animals that needed to be rescued. So when they got down there, they realized that there were over 100 different animals on the property. And so they called on fellow sanctuary in DeSoto County, Shelter Farm Sanctuary, and then they called us to see if we could come down there, and we were able to, thankfully. And the only thing I was told when we were going down there were a lot of birds and ducks, and then there was this pig that they didn't think could walk. They couldn't get him out. So when we went down there, it looked just like any kind of typical Florida home, the property itself. Once we got further back and law enforcement was there just observing and making sure everything went smoothly, we went straight back to where Gabriel we named, was being held. And it was this like wall-to-wall concrete area outside, and come up. I remember very vividly that there was loud music being played and people working on the roof. And it was almost like he didn't exist. He wasn't there. He was laying in his own urine and feces. There was no water. There was rotting fruit that I guess was his food. And he was alive. I was concerned that he was even alive when we approached him. And you could tell like there was very little life in him. It was so sad to see. And I had brought, we know, pigs especially are very food motivated. So I had brought some treats to at least try and get him to eat something. And he kind of motioned like he wanted to try and eat it, but physically could not even move towards me to take the banana. So we were able with several people to get him up. We had some straps and hoisting him up and kind of guided him to the trailer that we had just to get him out of there. And I'm so grateful. One of the vets that we work with was off that day and actually just happened to be in Fort Myers. Oh, wow. And we were going to be picking up an orphan duckling from the vet's office. And I said, yeah, it has to be later though, because we're in the process of this rescue. And she said, do you want me to come help out if I can? And I said, yeah, absolutely, which was a miracle because Gabriel was so bad off. It was a stressful situation, but he had so much going on where he had such a high fever. He, still couldn't really walk and get around that well. And you could tell his breathing was so labored that he was very sick. So she began treating him right away while we were working to get the rest of the animals out of there. And I think in total, there was over 113 animals that were rescued. So a majority of them ended up in different sanctuaries. And I think quite a few of them ended up going up to Farm Sanctuary in New York as well. But when we got Gabriel, we took him directly to our clinic and began treating him. He stayed there overnight. And then a couple days later, we brought him to the sanctuary. And we ended up having to doing the albuterol treatment and having, because we were really worried that he was not going to make it. So it took him probably 4 months to fully get over the sicknesses that he had. And then we were able to integrate him with the rest of the crew. And then just a little over a month ago, we rescued a little farm piglet from Tampa, who we believe fell off a transport truck as well. And she, as soon as she got to our sanctuary, like she made a beeline for Gabriel and has not left his side since then.
Oh,
so
that's so nice. Is that the little one that couldn't walk properly?
So that's Ivy. So she hangs with them too, but Gigi is the one that like all of a sudden was just like, Gabriel's my family immediately. So she snuck out of quarantine and we just said, well, because Gabriel's been having a hard time integrating with the pigs. They're picking on him and he doesn't fight. Like he's so gentle and sweet. And I think he just doesn't know how to defend himself. So he has his new family that is forming here. So yeah, he's a very happy boy.
Yeah. Yeah. Did he have pneumonia?
He did. Yes. Yeah.
Which is really, to everybody who's watching, pneumonia, especially in pigs coming from these terrible places, factory farming, backyard slaughterhouses, pneumonia is just such a typical diagnosis, and it takes months for them to heal, and and that's just, never mind the parasites and all the other stuff that's wrong with them.
Yeah.
So yeah,
and I do think he has some long-term like scarring in his lungs as well because of, I think he'd been so sick for so long.
Yeah. Yeah, that's sad. Yeah, it happens a lot. Did he have his tail docked? Was all that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and it's interesting because Gabriel's tail, for those that have been to the sanctuary and seeing him, it's docked where you almost don't even see his tail. And I think there is some nerve damage there because there's not like full control. But he gets around and he's loving life. So
yeah, that's awesome. So has the pandemic, well, of course the pandemic suffered us all. Are you guys open now? Are you, volunteers can come out? What's going on during these times?
Yeah, so we did, obviously in the very beginning, we had quite a few events that we had to cancel because of COVID and just safety for everyone involved. But what we have been doing for several months is having volunteers come out primarily on the weekends, since myself and Jody do work full time. It's difficult during the week to have people out, but on the weekends, we just have people, if you're interested in either volunteering or even doing small tours to kind of check out the sanctuary, you can just message us on any of the platforms we mentioned earlier, and we're happy to have people out. So we do try and keep the volunteer groups to 10 and under, just because this way we're able to spread people out throughout the property and keep distant as we can. So, but yeah, awesome. It's so critical, as you know, Chris, to have that kind of help. So we are so appreciative of our volunteers.
Yeah, I volunteers are amazing. It's and I certainly, I know where I'm located. I'm sure where you're located too. We're kind of like off the beaten path, so it's really hard to find good volunteers who want to show up regularly. So if somebody wants to volunteer, how do they get in touch with you?
They can email us. The email is on our website, or if you are on social media, you can send a message there. And then there is also, I believe, a phone number on the website that if you want to call or text to set that up. But usually, the website right there is going to be your best bet. Yeah. So I do my very best to respond within 24 hours. But if it's a little longer than that, don't fret. I'll get back to you. So yeah, I mean, I can't stress enough how wonderful it is to have the volunteers. I mean, we're not asking people to do glamorous jobs by any means. It's a lot of physical labor and work, and to drive all that way out there, it's so amazing. So it truly takes a village to do what we do.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I say that all the time. It really does. what I know the volunteers that come out here usually think it's about rubbing pig bellies and playing with the animals, and I think some people get insulted when I put them to work. But yeah, volunteers, gosh, I don't know what I would do without them. We had to hire somebody during the week because we just got so busy. I'm not going to ask you if you have a favorite animal. Let's talk about pigs as pets, because that's a big, pig education is a big part of what we do. I know it's a big part of what you guys do. Do you have any feelings about pig as pets? What do you recommend for people? You want to talk a little bit about pig as pets, and maybe if somebody really does want a pig as a pet, visit a sanctuary. What are your thoughts on that? Because it's a huge problem right now, right? It's a huge problem.
It is. I mean, and I think 99% of the pigs that are brought into homes are needing to be rehomed there. So I mean, it's truly an epidemic when we think about what's going on. And unfortunately, there's a lot of misinformation out there, and seeing the cute little tiny piglets that are marketed as mini or teacups, which, I mean, of course that's adorable and that sort of thing. But the reality is they grow up, and they grow up very quickly, and they get big. Like, I was just sharing the transformation with Owen. Now, granted, he is a wild pig and not, typically the pets are going to be pot bellies. But I mean, even that is very standard, where they could easily be 150, 200 pounds when full grown, if not larger than that too. Yeah. So I would say, like you mentioned a minute ago, if you are thinking about getting a pig or want to just see pig behavior and be a little more familiar with that, definitely visit a sanctuary so that you can see that. I mean, pigs, in some ways are very similar to dogs, but they're also very different. They're very, very intelligent,
very.
which is good, but also keep you on your toes.
Yeah, you can say that again.
And they can be naturally, with rooting and just kind of, they need an area to be outside. And like I mentioned, a couple of our pigs do sleep in the house, but they're outside all day long. And they need enough area, just knowing that, if you really like your grass and your area, that the pigs will most likely destroy that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, they're very destructive. Yeah, pigs as pets are, I know, gosh, there's not a day that goes by now that we don't receive an email or a phone call with somebody that needs to rehome their pig. It's every single day. I know the shelters now are just, oh my gosh, they're just showing up in shelters now. It's a huge issue. It's a huge problem.
And I would say to that too, definitely make sure, depending on what your living situation is, if you are adamant about getting a pig, that you do research to make sure that you can have a pig. I hear, and I'm sure you hear that a lot too. So
people assume if dogs are allowed, pigs are allowed, which is definitely not the case. And and also make sure they have a vet that can take care of a pig. Mm-hmm. So often I see in the pig groups on Facebook, makes me so mad, but I keep quiet. People get these pigs, and their veterinary advice is coming from Facebook. They don't have a vet, so they're reaching out in these groups and saying, what should I do for this? What should I do for that? And I know, and it's really important to have a veterinarian that can take care of a pig. And the expenses too, or I think it's a lot more than a dog, and it can add up because it's such a specialty.
Absolutely. And just the regular maintenance too, with the hoof trims and possibly tusk trims and And definitely making sure that you spay or neuter if you are getting them as well, just like you would for animals. Yeah.
Yeah, that's another thing I think people they don't realize. You got to spay and neuter your pigs, just like dogs, for their health. It also, especially with the males, makes a big difference because they can get pretty ornery if they're not fixed.
Absolutely. Well, and I know, Chris, you just posted a video of Arnold, your pig. So we have Arnold's twin, Dahlia.
Yes, you do. Yeah. Isn't it funny how they look so much alike?
Yeah.
I think they're the same age too, probably separated at birth.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, Arnold is, if you look at our recent Facebook and Instagram post, Arnold was a little baby boar that came to us from Peace River Wildlife. And he was, little and cute. And we had him in the house for a while. And, it's for me personally, they really have changed my life in so many ways. I tell people it's one thing to see them on social media and, read about them, but it's a whole other thing to physically have them in your presence, to have to take care of them. And their intelligence is staggering. They're truly, it's mind blowing. They understand English. They will terrorize you. They will plot and scheme. They learn how to open up the cabinets, the refrigerator. They will destroy your backyard. But I love them. They are my favorite of all the animals.
And I know, just interacting with them, and I'm sure you can attest to this too, Chris, that even just hearing the different sounds that they're making, obviously they're communicating just like us, and you can pick up on the different the different tones. Or
oh my god, yeah. I know what food means. I know what rub my belly means. They say hello in the morning when I go out of the house. They do this. They have a certain little squeal because I'm like, hey, and they're like, People think I'm crazy, but it's true, right? I'm not crazy.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, we may be a little crazy. I don't know.
Yeah. You have to be a little crazy to do that, for sure. Yeah.
I'm kidding.
Yeah. No, it's true though. We're crazy. Any final things you want to share with people who are watching?
Well, just make sure if you haven't checked out our sanctuary information, we'd love to have you follow in and be on the journey with us at Yesican Sanctuary. And Chris, I've been talking about the volunteers and the supporters that we have, but truly I feel very lucky and fortunate that we also have other sanctuaries like yours and others in Florida where we can turn to for support. I mean, I feel like there's many times I'm texting you for various things. So it's nice to have that internal community as well. So thank you for that.
No, you're welcome. Thank you too. You've been very helpful to me. I think there's a great group of us that work together, and it's nice to have that connection, and it's all part of the village, right? I remember when I opened the sanctuary, I had reached out to other sanctuaries that were not so forthcoming. There seems to be, as there's always some type of I don't know what I'll be nice. They just seem to not want to help. And I always told myself that, I would be here to answer any questions and, help anybody, with the journey of opening a sanctuary, of taking care of the animals. I think it's really important. I think the more that we work together, just the more animals we can help, the more good we can do together. Yeah.
Absolutely. So we know that we can't save them all. So working together and doing everything we can to build that even more.
For sure.
I'll have the same mission. So
yeah, it's true. It's true. So thank you for being on my show today.
Thank you, Chris. I listen to podcasts. I mean, I know this is live as well, but I listen to podcasts. I have it on speaker when I do my morning tours and even in the evening all the time. So it's been such a pleasure listening to your weekly podcasts as well. So I enjoy it.
I'm still learning. It's new.
I can't wait to try the next recipe your chef has on as well.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm not gonna give away any secrets. So yeah.
All right.
It's gonna be a fall recipe. I'll just another cake, of course, but I can't wait to try it.
Yeah.
All right, sweetie. Great to see you. I know I'm gonna see you soon. I got some stuff for you.
Yes.
And one more time, where do we find you guys?
Yeah, so yesicansanctuary.org. We're also on Facebook, Instagram, and sometimes Twitter.
Yeah, that's Twitter.
Thank you so much.
Great to see you. Thank you for being on the show. I hope you come back.
Definitely. We'll be there very soon. I want to see all your new residents.
Great. Awesome. Yeah, you have to come visit for sure. Bye, sweetie.
All right. Thanks, Chris.
Thanks. All right. Thank you, Karla. That was great. Couple more announcements. I got a couple minutes left. On October 30th at 8 p.m. here on the Goldylocks Network. I can't talk today for some reason. I'm tongue-tied. We're going to be doing Halloween squares, and should be a lot of fun. I'll definitely post some links. If you're looking, there we go. There's the comments right there. There's a promo. Check it out. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. I don't know. Do we dress up, Tiffany? I don't even know if we're supposed to dress or. I was joking with Laura. Laura has her. Yes. Okay. So I'm going to definitely dress up. I was speaking to Laura about it. We joked that I was going to be Carol Channing, and she was going to be. I can't think of the guy's name now. It's one of the famous guys from Hollywood Squares. Anyway, I'm looking forward to that. So maybe I'll be Carol Channing. Maybe I won't. So yeah, that's October 30th at 8 p.m. What else can I tell you guys? I got my list here. Next week's guest is Brendan, and I hope I don't butcher your last name too badly, Brendan. It's Kumarasamy. And Brendan, he's the founder of Master Talk on YouTube. I'm really excited to have him because this podcast stuff is all new to me, and his specialty is podcasts and public speaking, and I think he's going to be a great resource to have. I've been watching his videos, and I've actually been learning a lot. I know one of my big problems with public speaking. I'm always saying the to fill that space in between the silences. So I'm working on that, and his videos have been a great help, and I'm excited to have him next week as my guest. If you guys have any questions, you can reach out to us at info@littlebearsanctuary.org. Send me questions. I'll read them on the air. If you have somebody you want to see on my show, send me a note. If you want to be on the show, send me a note. Always looking for guests. Brendan came from a site called Matchmaker, which Tiffany and I had a really good laugh about that because she was wondering what I was doing on a Matchmaker site. But it's a great site for people who do podcasts to be guests, to look for guests. And that's how I met Brendan. So I'm really excited to have him next week. I don't know if I shared this with you guys the last time, but for everybody that was voting on the My Giving Circle, we did make the top 10, and we received $1,000 grant. So that was really exciting. Thank you for everybody who voted. I know that they're doing another round. I guess it's every few months. They continue that. So we're sort of in that. We're sort of not. I kind of want to give other sanctuaries an opportunity to be part of it. So I haven't been pushing it as much. But you can still vote under my giving circle. You can donate. A lot of great organizations are a part of it. And we're really so thankful for the $1,000 grant. Thank you to everybody who voted. It's it does take a village, and I'm saying and I'm aware of it. So let's see what else. I think I covered everything today, guys. I really appreciate you guys tuning in, and you can catch our shows on demand at the Goldylocks Productions YouTube and Periscope. And also, we've created a section on the Little Bear Sanctuary website where you can also watch these podcasts on demand. That's my show for today. This has been live from Little Bear Sanctuary. I'm Chris Vane. Have a great weekend, everybody. Love you guys, and I'll see you next week.
Become a Goldylocks Productions VIP patron. Receive exclusive access to live stream special and other epic perks. Join the Goldylocks Productions VIP community today.